Caitlin Clark's the new it. If you don't have a long ball, talking about the 26, 30 feet, if you ain't doing the Steph Curry, if you ain't got none of that long ball in your game, yeah, you're going to be behind.
She's doing stuff we've never seen before. Never seen nobody do that on a consistent basis. There's a lot of girls in WNBA that have done it in spurts, but that game I'm watching y'all in the Final Four, I'm like, damn, and I was a hater because, I'm down with you. Like, she's not going to hit that shot, and bam, like, damn.
Anyone following basketball knows that Caitlin Clark is a supernova. She has sparked a significant change in how we view the women's game. NBA legends and icons who understand the game inside and out have been left in awe of her brilliance. Saïd Sow. Excitement surrounding the WNBA has reached new heights thanks to Caitlin's exceptional play and growing popularity. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. Michael Jordan, the greatest of them all, has finally broken his silence. MJ's comments about Caitlin are a game changer, and his praise speaks volumes. What Jordan had to say is nothing short of extraordinary. NBA legend Rick Barry also made a powerful statement in defense of Caitlin Clark. Barry called out the constant criticism she has faced from certain WNBA players, labeling it as nothing more than jealousy and fear of her undeniable talent. His words hit hard, silencing critics and making a strong case for why Caitlin deserves all the respect
that she's bringing for all of them. She bringing, they flying private planes now. They went flying private before she came. They on major networks now. They weren't doing that. See, she remind me of Tiger Woods for golf. Yeah.
WNBA great. George Gervin also stepped up to defend Caitlin Clark, and his words were just as impactful. Gervin didn't shy away from calling out the disrespect, making it clear that Caitlin's talent is something to be celebrated, not torn down. His statement was an attention grabber, sending a strong message to everyone who doubts Caitlin. Her greatness is here to stay, and even legends recognize it. Get ready to hear Gervin's powerful defense.
I think it's reprehensible what they're allowing some of these players to. Anybody that does something flagrant to this young lady for what she's brought to the game should be suspended and fined big time for doing that.
Guys who don't have huge media exposure are often the most likely to give us their uncensored opinions. That's why we'll start with a former player who isn't all over the airwaves in retirement. Jeff Teague, a quality starter for most of his 12 seasons in the league, was a one-time All-Star and a winner of one NBA championship ring. However, he was never a media darling or a highly marketable figure. Now retired, Teague feels free to criticize the WNBA for its treatment of Caitlin Clark, especially as she entered the league with a massive fan base.
Like, they played this all wrong, bro.
Terribly, bro.
They was supposed to gas this shit. This is why people don't watch this shit when y'all leave college, women's sports, because y'all hating on the best thing that's gonna happen to the W.
While you can argue that his delivery is raw, the main point he's conveying is very reasonable. After years of furious debate about the gender pay gap in sports and repeated unsuccessful attempts to raise the visibility of the WNBA, Caitlin's arrival has finally started making progress on those fronts. However, she still endured a rough welcome. Teague points out that such an attitude is damaging the league financially, while also making it clear that he believes Caitlin deserves better treatment from both her peers and managers. Speaking of ill treatment, Celtics legend Paul Pierce deserves some blame for the animosity in the media toward Clark early in the season. The 10-time All-Star publicly doubted Caitlin Clark, and even sparked a racial controversy with his comments about the Fever's fabulous rookie. He has since tried to distance himself from some of that noise and has reluctantly started showing some respect toward the Indiana Fever guard. Here's what Pierce had to say after Clark was left off the U.S. Olympic team.
You claim you want the women's game to grow, and then you keep the most popular girl in women's basketball off team. How do you grow internationally and domestically if you don't put her on the U.S. team? It just makes the most sense. Sometimes you have to say, hey, guys, this is bigger than the game, which it is. I mean, women's basketball is at an all-time high because of Caitlin Clark.
On the surface, his take sounds respectful, but if you dissect the logic behind it, you'll see that Pierce is still not completely sold on Caitlin Clark's basketball ability. He believes Clark should have been part of the U.S. roster to help grow the popularity of the sport, but he implies that Caitlin didn't earn an invitation solely on merit. Then again, Paul Pierce is known as one of the most provocative NBA players turned sports commentators, so all of his takes should be viewed with some reservation. He might simply be trying to stay relevant in the media space. Just when you thought the drama surrounding Caitlin couldn't get any bigger, Shaquille O'Neal dropped a bombshell on Angel Reese's podcast. Shaq held nothing back as he praised Caitlin Clark right in front of her most vocal critic. It was a jaw-dropping moment, an NBA legend defending Caitlin in the least expected place. His words made one thing clear: Caitlin is extraordinary, and even her harshest critics couldn't deny it. Get ready to hear it straight from the Big Diesel himself.
And I was a hater because, I'm down. She was like, she's not going to hit that shot. And bam, like, damn, she's not going to hit that shot. Man, like if I say 10 times you're not going to hit the shot and you hit the shot, that means you're the truth. So I'm telling you now, if you just lower it like this.
Absence from the biggest sports event of the year may have hurt Caitlyn on a personal level, but it could have been a blessing in disguise. At least, that's what legendary NBA center and 3-time Defensive Player of the Year Dwight Howard believes. He suggested at the time that Caitlyn could use the time off to work on her skills and dominate in the second half of the season, which is exactly what happened. The quote from Howard now sounds almost prescient when we look back at it.
She is a great player, but it's a lot of players that, no lie, who, as far as basketball-wise, they have the edge over her of why they should be playing in the Olympics right now. Mind you, this should motivate her. This should make her go harder in the gym. The 3 weeks that they off, she should get in better.
Caitlyn Clark looked much different since the Olympic break. While we don't know how much the omission from the team sparked her fury and motivated her, she definitely found her groove. Traveling to Paris and potentially sitting on the bench for a stacked team could have thrown Clark off her rhythm, not to mention the possibility of a random injury that could linger upon her return. Dwight Howard saw an opportunity for Caitlyn, where everyone else saw only failure and lack of respect. He was smart enough to realize that a player of Clark's caliber was perfectly positioned to capitalize on that opportunity and prove she was better than most of the players selected ahead of her. Still, with Caitlyn Clark, you always have to consider the big picture. Hall of Fame point guard Isaiah Thomas was always able to see all the angles both on and off the court. After his stellar playing career, which culminated in back-to-back NBA championships for the Detroit Pistons, Thomas went on to work as a head coach and executive in the NBA for many years. When asked about Clark, Thomas had a predominantly positive view, though with one little twist in the end.
I think it's great what she's done, and I think it's great what the media and the WNBA and marketing and the players are doing because, controversy is not good, but, controversy sells.
That's a very smooth job from Thomas, who managed to compliment everyone while still pointing out the dirty business behind all the Caitlyn hate, all in one sentence. It's no secret that people tune in to follow drama, and by attacking Caitlyn Clark from all directions when she first entered the league, the media had a lot to gain. Let's just say Isaiah is onto something here, but he doesn't want to feed into the very controversy he's describing. Caitlyn Clark has quickly gained grassroots support from Indianapolis fans, but she still can't compare with some of the basketball heroes from the past when it comes to local love. At the very top of the list of most beloved Indiana ballers of all time is the elite three-point marksman and cutthroat competitor, Reggie Miller, who spent all 18 of his seasons wearing the iconic Not Sure 31 Pacers jersey. While you might expect Miller to show some respect to Clark as the new savior of his town, he went the opposite route and basically said that every rookie must learn how to deal with adversity and competition.
What did you expect was going to happen to her? Number one, I don't think it's jealousy. Oh my God, she's getting all the endorsements. We're going to go after her. You're playing at the highest level. You're playing in the WNBA. You're coming from college and you're going to the pro ranks, right? What did she expect was going to happen? Why are people so shocked, right? You're playing against grown women. The same thing happened to us.
Reggie Miller played in the old school NBA where physicality was the norm, and his perspective on hard fouls might not fully apply to today's game. But let's be clear, Caitlyn Clark is facing challenges beyond just competitiveness. She's enduring unnecessary hostility. It was never realistic to expect WNBA players to simply welcome Caitlyn without a fight. But the level of resistance she has encountered goes beyond just earning her place. It feels like an attempt to push her down. Caitlyn's journey is about more than just earning respect. It's about demanding fair treatment, even if it means standing tall against the odds. Magic Johnson is actively involved in women's basketball as a part owner of the Los Angeles Sparks. Because of that, we know the superstar point guard and driver of 5 NBA championship teams is paying attention to what's going on in the WNBA. Johnson offered a very insightful analysis of Caitlyn's role in the league, while also mentioning other high-profile rookies.
And the thing I love about her, she never says a word. And now, when I watch her, 2 things I like. She's playing much faster. She was playing too slow the first half of the season.
From the college season.
They didn't even give her the understanding, like, you girls been worded for the WNBA season. Y'all been working out on the no-strip. She came straight out of college.
Interestingly, Magic drew a parallel between the current crop of young WNBA talent and his own rivalry with Larry Bird. which revitalized the NBA in the late 70s and early 80s. He is preaching patience, pointing out that the young stars will need support from their teammates to conquer all the challenges and earn top spots in their sport. In his typical style, Magic gave his praise to everyone without truly getting caught up in the ugly part of the debate. Still, his assessment of Clark is very high and can be taken as a sign that even older NBA players who have a vested interest in competing teams must respect her greatness. Anyone who remembers Magic from his playing days knows he was always classy and elegant in his public statements. That can't be said for one of his contemporaries, Charles Barkley. Barkley was a physical player whose interactions with the media often mirrored his battles for position deep in the paint. Now working in the media and enjoying even greater popularity than during his playing career, the 11-time All-Star and 2-time Olympic gold medalist has commented on Caitlin Clark and her WNBA experience several times. He's been mostly supportive, like in this clip where he discusses how her form changed during the season.
Now, Caitlin, her teammates got to come to her defense.
Sure.
You can't allow her to have to fight every battle, right? But we have to understand that both Caitlin, Angel, and Brink, who plays for my Sparks, they made the WNBA better. And they're going to be tested by these incredible women who've been in the league for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin is the most popular WNBA player, but she's not the best at this time. Just like Larry and I were not the best when we entered the league. We became the best.
Fatigue might have played as much of a role in slowing Caitlin Clark early on as anything that defenses did, and Chuck is correctly noticing that she's had more pep in her step lately. This has led to increased opportunities in transition and a higher scoring output for both Clark and her teammates. However, Barkley also addressed how fellow WNBA players treat Clark, and he didn't hold back from offering pointed and biting criticism of his targets.
We cannot have this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they tried. People believe what we say on television. Just because people don't like you or your personality, they can't get on TV and slander you. It's just total bullshit. This girl is incredible. The number of attention, eyeballs she's brought to college and the pros, and for these women to have this petty jealousness, you say to yourself, damn, what is going on?
Humorous tone aside, Barkley has nailed the central issue in the Caitlin Clark saga. Competition is one thing, but petty maliciousness is something else, and there have been instances where opponents sent Clark to the floor with no legitimate basketball reason. The argument that other players should be appreciative of Clark rather than combative makes sense, but Barkley has another group in mind as the culprits behind the whole situation: the opinion makers in the media.
You women out there, y'all petty, man. Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all petty girls. I expect men to be petty because we're the most insecure group in the world. Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass private charters, all the money and visibility she bringing to the WNBA. Don't be petty like dudes.
You can't blame Barkley for being irritated by what he sees as injustice. The WNBA sees Caitlin Clark as a cash cow, but doesn't do enough to protect her on the floor or promote her as the future flag bearer of the league. Part of that comes from corporate caution, as decision makers prefer to let the season play out before formulating a strategy around Caitlin Clark's rapid ascent to superstardom. The other part may indeed be related to personal dislike of Clark among some key media members, and that's just not acceptable in a professional environment. Michael Jordan has finally broken his silence on Caitlin Clark, and he didn't mince words. The WNBA owes Caitlin a lot for what she's done for the game, MJ said. Jordan also called for changes in officiating, emphasizing that the refs have been unfair to Caitlin and that it's time for the league to make things right. His words send a powerful message. The WNBA must appreciate Caitlin's impact and ensure she gets the respect she deserves, both from the players and from the officials on the court. Steph Curry himself had to chime in on Caitlin Clark. After all, Luka isn't the only one comparing Caitlin to Curry. She's been donning the female Steph Curry label since college, and it's not hard to see why. Her long-range three-point shooting is a dead giveaway. Already, comparisons have been made between Steph Curry's shooting form and Caitlin Clark's similar style. They both have that blindingly quick release time that stuns defenders, but their games offer so much more than just that weapon. Steph himself has observed that special aspect in Caitlin Clark's game. To be like Steph, you don't just have to have the skill to shoot like him. You need to perform and turn the game into a show for the crowd. You also have to have more to your game than that. Find ways to make your team better and affect the game even when the ball isn't in your hands. That's what separates Steph's greatness from all the other guards who've been practicing their three-point shots. It's no wonder why people have asked Steph a lot about Caitlin Clark. And it's cool that Steph has been outspoken with his praise.
I saw somebody break down the release time, which is pretty much identical to mine. Can't help but watch when she plays, where she's shooting from, the range, the confidence, the flair. Like, she's a performer. It's crazy, though, just because her shot is like that. It's at that level. If you really watch, like, her floor game is as impressive. So it's kind of the total package. And her being the French breaking that record and the amount of attention that she has gained over the course of these last couple of years. Every building she goes into, there's a different energy. Like, it's great for her, great for women's basketball.
Steph represented the NBA during a landmark three-point shootout with the WNBA. It was a thrilling matchup that remained close until the end, with Steph edging out the win. Now that NBA versus WNBA three-point shootouts have been established, Caitlin Clark could have a shot at going toe-to-toe with her idol. She has declined to join the three-point contest so far, but has expressed openness to it in the future. We all know our fingers are crossed that she does. If Caitlin Clark wants to find some solace in the words of NBA legends, it's best to listen only to those who have the resumes to back their opinions. Former MVP and NBA champion Kevin Garnett has a reputation as one of the hardest workers in his sport. His famous toughness and bravado helped him overcome countless challenges during a 21-year NBA career. Nicknamed the Big Ticket, Garnett joined the NBA straight out of high school and was soon feared on both ends of the court. He has a unique perspective on how basketball stars are made.
Caitlin Clark go through shit. I'm watching all, man, rookies, you're gonna go through some shit. And guess what? When you're it, when you got the bullseye on your back, when you it, it's gonna come with some shit. And nobody's hitting y'all with the step back in the high. Yeah, it's a compliment. Yeah, you fear.
Not only does Garnett think it is normal
for a rookie to deal with rough play and taunting, but he also believes it's a stepping stone toward greatness. The best players have to prove their worth, and through that process, the special ones build their winning mentality. According to him, Caitlin should take the attention from defenses as a sign of respect and just go with the flow. It's an interesting point of view, even if it may not be shared by all retired NBA players. The legend of Caitlin Clark continues to grow, and this is especially evident in the way the biggest names in the sport are talking about her. Since she started playing well and her team entered the playoff picture, she's increasingly recognized as the real deal. To borrow a phrase from Shaq, there's an old saying that game recognizes game. So, the support of certified masters of the craft means much more than the opinions of journalists who've never played basketball. All of the famous NBA stars were rookies once, so they understand how much Clark can develop from this point and how much it will mean for women's basketball for her to reach her full potential. You can be sure that some of the best players in NBA history are actively following Caitlin Clark's road to success and rooting for her to rewrite the record books and revolutionize the business side of